Welcome everyone to the Pantheon. I am Ray,
And I'm Evie.
and today, Evie, what are we looking at?
We are looking at Infinity War.
That's right. It is. We're getting to the closing chapter for Phase Three. That's right, it's Phase Three.
Yeah.
So let's. Well, this is everyone. I think half the planet has seen this movie. One of the highest-grossing films of all time. It's in the
Yeah.
billion-dollar market or box office club. It's not there with Endgame or Avatar, but according to human eyes, you're looking at close to like maybe I say 1/8 of the planet's population has seen this film. It's a fair
Mhm.
assumption, maybe a little higher. So those who watch our show or listen to our podcast or watch our YouTube channel has definitely seen Infinity War and Endgame. So if we do spoilers, and if you haven't seen it, it's been like what, 3-4 years now
At least.
at least. So
Yeah.
if you haven't seen it, you should go out and see it. And if anything else, so hopefully this will entice you to go see the film. But we're going to this will be spoilers. So just heads up now for those who don't want to know. If there's going to be a lot of spoiler discussion on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, question to ask you, Abby, because I know with you, you have when you watch a film, if there's a lot of detail going on, a lot of things going on, it's confusing,
Mhm.
right? It kind of throws you out of the loop of watching a movie because a lot's going on. This
Right.
one, by design, even though the plot is very simplistic, there's so many moving parts to this movie. I mean, there are at least five stories going on almost in succession, like in parallel with one another. But the stories are very simplistic. They have one major goal: stop Thanos. But was it hard for you to grasp it in the beginning? Is it okay for you now? Did you understand it? Is it still confusing towards for you, or did you actually get it right from the start because you were following the MCU?
Um, I'm getting most of it, maybe
Mhm.
half of it.
Okay,
It's a great movie,
right.
but yeah, you gotta there's some stuff I still don't understand, but that's all right. It's a good movie. I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind watching it over and over. The only thing is just, yeah, there's a lot going on. So
yeah,
you gotta be careful.
yeah. No, I say this because I know when you watched Thor Ragnarok, sorry, you said to me you saw it 3 times, and on the third time it actually clicked. You understood like
Yeah,
what's the stakes, and because once you establish like you knew what the motivation is to save their home world, you kind of
right.
understand why they're doing what they're doing and why they're going through all that.
Right,
So
exactly.
with this one, it's about Thanos. Obviously wanting to destroy half the universe, right? So the
Right.
stakes are real. The stakes are pretty simplistic, but the story is straightforward. But because you're going to have like a giant cast doing separated into 5 different levels, like 5 different areas or areas of the
Mhm.
universe to stop Thanos and his the black is it the Black Oracle or the Children of Thanos
Yeah.
from doing their thing. There's a lot going on. So, but in the meat of it, you understood what was going on.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
definitely. Overall, yeah.
okay. So where I know this is in your top 10 favorite films of the MCU,
Hmm.
right? So if you hypothetically, if you would just saw Iron Man, the 2008 Iron Man, and then you went to see Infinity War, the world would probably be kind of insane, like literally lost its mind when you go from one
Yeah.
to the other. So, um, did you find this movie like because you've watched so many of the MCU films, especially Thor Ragnarok and
Mhm.
Spider-Man Far From Home, because that kind of helps you understand like where they are at this moment going
Mhm.
into it, like where like Stark and Peter Parker's relationship is, and
Right.
with how Thor has lost so much at this point,
Mhm.
and why he's driven to create the axe to take on Thanos. So,
Yeah.
uh, looking at from that perspective, like what were the things that you came out of it thinking, wow, you got a lot of information from that to going
Hmm.
into Endgame. Like, what was it? What were the things that made you really clue on to the movie?
Well, the part of one of the movies where I think it was, which one? It was the one where was Thanos. said, well, he finally got it, um, after the first Avengers movie,
Hmm.
where he's wanted to kill all half of the villains.
Hmm.
That actually, that is where I clued in when he said that.
Right.
That was really an uptake. It's like he's finally getting it. I want to kill all of the or at least half the villains. So that's where I really got it.
Right. Um, I was I found the movie misleading initially, and that's because the way it's set up. Like, as
Yeah.
it says Avengers Infinity War, so you think it's the Avengers story, but like I think it was probably maybe I'd say two-thirds into this film, I personally realized it then that this wasn't a story about the Avengers. This was Thanos' story. Like he's the hero of this movie. Like
Wow. Yeah.
when that actually made sense to me, like that dawned on me. Like this is
Okay.
not like Stark's movie or Captain America's movie. I mean, there are characters in this film, and they're supporting characters, but the
Wow.
star of this movie for me, like when as I was watching for the first time, and then on the rewatch, which validates my opinion of it,
Mm-hmm.
is that this is actually Thanos' story. He
Okay.
like I mean you experience what he lost, like in terms of getting
Mm-hmm.
the soul stone, what he had to go through to accomplish his goal, and in the end, like
Right.
even almost losing his head in at the end, like this, like he is the hero of his own story in this movie.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
So
that's a good way to see
so
it.
when I saw this, and again, it took me like I would say at least probably when he got to Wakanda. I mean, the heroes are there as his opposition, but I mean, it's his quest is to help the universe, is to help balance the scale of the universe in terms of
Mm.
famine and food and
Cool.
resources and etc. Is to create
Mm.
balance where people can thrive and prosper.
Mm.
That's what his
Awesome.
thinking is. So and so he is making the biggest sacrifice of his family, of himself, of his resources. Like he's going all out. He's going all in on this. So when I saw this, by the end of it, I realized this is his story, and this is how this is. So we're looking at through his lens.
In the next movie,
Mhm.
Thor, I don't know. It's kind of, it's a spoiler, so I
Mhm.
don't really want to say,
Sure.
but I don't know. Thor, Thor looks angry, and definitely for him, things are gonna change,
Right.
and a new character will be coming up, or that's what I think anyway.
Mhm. uh, I guess I find when I was watching this too, they focus on certain characters, like for instance, Vision and Scarlet Witch. They focused on, like, they gave them their due in this movie.
Yeah.
Uh, the Spider-Man and Tony Stark had their special their due.
Right.
Laura and Star Lord had their, so like only certain players had key moments. They had to shine. Captain America
Yeah.
didn't really have a much of a role here. Like certain characters didn't have much of a. Those who were bigger, more prominent, like leading characters,
Hmm.
didn't have a prominent role here. But then you realize uh, the reason why we have Wanda and Vision is because what happens at the end.
Okay.
So we have their romantic time together. We have their establish their bond, how they've grown.
Okay. I haven't seen any of them yet, though.
No, from Infinity War.
Okay. Oh yeah, that
Like
for
like
sure.
these are the stories that they focused on mostly in Infinity War, like
Okay.
him losing his being stabbed and not being able to heal, right, in
Right.
the train
Okay.
station. So like there are certain things, and so when I
Mhm.
was watching, I feel like why they're focusing so much on Vision and Wanda, and then you find out that they have a tragedy near the end, like a
Okay.
kind of like a Shakespearean tragedy because of
You're right.
sacrifice.
You're
You
right,
know,
dude.
and then of course same thing with Peter and Iron and Tony Stark.
Hmm.
They're on their own, and there's a story focusing on those two with Doctor Strange.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, there's
Cool.
speaking of like tragedy, Star Lord. I think a lot of people were upset because Star Lord really botched the whole thing up. If he didn't lose his
Mm.
temper with Thanos when they had him on the
Right.
ropes, uh, most of this could have been avoided. That was it wouldn't have
Yeah.
escalated to the point where they got to where they had only one choice left. You
Hmm.
know, they had a control at they had a certain control at a certain point, but he lost the emotion. He got emotional.
Right.
Um, when you watch a movie and you see through certain behaviors of like characters, do you ever question, like why did they go left instead of right? Did you ever like when you have big pivotal scenes, do you ever question the thought pattern behind the decision makings of certain characters in any movie, not necessarily Marvel, but like any like big movie, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
All the time.
and so, like when you look at this one, what are you thinking about with Star Lord in this case?
Uh, that that he's you know that he's well for um this one. I'm thinking, how come he kind of jokes around
Hmm.
rather than like just go and do what he needs to do,
Hmm.
with with him and his Walkman or whatever.
All right.
Yeah, I guess it was maybe like to be funny,
Hmm.
but you know um maybe that was just just so the film could be funny,
Yeah.
and yeah, you know and I'm thinking, well, why don't we get on with the movie?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
he wants it to be funny at some point rather than all serious. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, i
Yeah. You're
i
right.
still got to watch it over again to
Yeah.
figure out why
Yeah.
why that was done, but anyway.
Yeah, no, he's kind of like a Peter Pan because I mean, he lost his parents at a young age. He
Hmm.
was taken by pirates, adopted by
Right.
pirates, space pirates.
I guess. Yeah.
So he's had that kind of a Peter Pan, and I guess comedy or is his defense mechanism. But
Right. I guess. Yeah.